Hello everyone, it's Tana. Welcome back to my channel. We have some more goodies here from A Colorful Life Designs. We have the filigree leaf, the leafy heart frame, the ghostly web, cute Frankenstein, and the circle moon. Love this one, it's so cool. Now we're going to play with the circle moon first and cute Frankenstein, and I'm going to put that circle, the moon mask down, and I'm going to use, I believe this is Succulent, Catherine Pooler ink, and I'm going to ink up a nice green background. I'm using Bristol Smooth, so it stays inky on top of the paper longer, so I use some post-it tape on my fingers, and I also dry it with the heat gun before I take the mask off. Now we're going to go in with some Lost Shadow Distress ink, which is like a light gray, and we're going to use that moon mask there to stencil on the moon's craters. Then we're going to take cute Frankenstein here and we're going to ink him up right over our background, even the moon. And I'm using, I believe, Martini ink for this, also by Catherine Pooler. And I'm just going over all his features there with my blending buddy. Now, I couldn't decide if his hair should be black or not, so my daughter and I decided we should do two. One with black hair and one without. So I'm going to take my VersaFine Clear Nocturne ink and cover up that scar on his forehead there with a piece of post-it tape, and just ink up his hair really quick. Then I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment, which says trick or treat. I can't speak today, guys. And I'm pulling out my Trinity stamp set there, Simply Halloween. And I'm just going to stamp the same sentiment on both. I'm using a mat for this card, so I'm going to lay that down. I cut 1/8 of an inch off all the way around. I'm going to put on an A2 size card. And then my panel is 4 by 5 1/4. And that's for both cards. And now I have some fun Google eyes here. Some of the standard ones on the left, and some that were called monster eyes when I got them at the Dollar Tree years and years ago. So we did both their faces. I thought those were cute. Now we're going to move on to the filigree leaf. I am going to take this Aquatini is the background color I used on the panel, and it's Bristol Smooth cardstock again. And I'm taking this Quickie glue pen. I wasn't sure at first if I could use it, but I used it on a piece of scrap paper and let it dry. And it does turn out tacky when dry, and that's what you need. You need it to be tacky when it's dry, because we're going to come in with some gilding flakes when we're done inking up this stencil with the glue. So after I finish up, I gently peel the stencil away from the pattern, and then I let it sit for a few minutes to make sure all the glue dried. Excuse me. And then we're going to go in with some Nuvo Copper gilding flakes. And you just want to put these on your sticky areas and rub them on kind of gently. You don't want to smush them into where there's no glue. Of course, those areas are going to get covered, but we're going to take that stiff brush off to the right, and you're going to just brush away over a garbage can all the excess. So take off any large pieces you want, put them back in the container, because then we're going to take this off camera with the brush, and we're just going to brush all that into the garbage can, and this is the result. It's definitely not something you want to do if you want fine detail work, but it turns out pretty darn good for using gilding flakes and glue through a stencil. Now I'm taking my little tool there and I'm tearing up the edges of my paper. And I'm showing you I splattered it. I got so excited I splattered it off camera. Totally forgot to show you guys that I was splattering it. And I'm taking this Life is Good sentiment from the Pinkfresh stamps that I have. And I'm going to pop that whole panel up on foam tape. Add my glue so I can move it around just in case. And that card's all done. Now we're going to take the leafy frame. This is another one. I made 2 cards out of it because I forgot to film one of them. I'm taking the Sweetheart ink from Catherine Pooler and going over a piece of Bristol Smooth cardstock. And this is again cut to 4 by 5 1/4. Now I'm going to heat set that. And we're going to do a tone on tone look. So we're going to place our stencil over the panel. And we're going to go over it again with the same color ink. Here I am just trimming it down to 4 by 5 1/4. So lay your stencil where you want it. And I'll just go in with my blending buddy and re-ink that stencil on there. Same color. Make sure you use the same color. Turns up really good. And then I took this Hey die. It says Hey, like how you doing? And I believe this was a die from MFT. And it's got a little tiny heart that goes at the end of your Y. So we'll put that on as well. And I'm using some like pink iridescent cardstock from Nuvo Tonic. Adhere that to the card base. And that one is done as well. I think I had some sequins to this one. Some bling. I added crystal metallic rose gold confetti sequins from A Colorful Life. And then I decided it needed splatter, so I went in with some Simon Says Stamp white splatter. But my opinion of that stuff is it's not as good as Dr. P.H. Martin's white, bleed proof white. It took on the color of the cardstock underneath it, the Simon Says Stamp, so it turned into pink splatter. So if you want splatter that's the same color as your project, you can go ahead and use it. But I'll stick to my Dr. Martin's bleed proof white, because I had to pull that out anyway and go over it again. Now we're going to ink up a purple background, and we're using that moon mask again. Moon mask is similar to the one I have from Tim Holtz. It's about the same size and everything. Going in with that Lost Shadow again to make the craters on the moon. Now I'm going in with Tim Holtz's black opaque paste and the Ghostly Web stencil. If you stay tuned to the end of the video, you'll see photos of the extra cards that I made. Peel that away. And now we're going to add some splatter, and I forgot to film it. I swear I'll get better at this stuff. It's like I'm relearning how to do everything again. Film, edit, voiceovers. I took such a large hiatus that I forgot how to do everything. But I will get better, guys. I promise. We're going to adhere that to a black card base. And we're going to use Hocus Pocus stamped in the bottom left corner. You can't see it on the screen, but you can see it, and that was Jackson waving. He wanted to say hello. And that's it for these cards, guys. Don't forget to hit that like button, and don't forget to hit subscribe so you can be notified of all my upcoming videos. And we will see you in the next one. Bye bye for now, guys.